How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Been out for a little bit, but now I'm back. I definitely haven't forgotten about you all. Just been pretty busy, things come up, right? But hope you all are excited to see me back, and hopefully we can get this news out from an unbiased perspective. Hopefully, and talk about some things that you don't see on, I guess, the regular media, or look at it from a perspective that you're not hearing from a someone in the regular media. If you like this type of content, please like, share, subscribe, comment, as long as it's tasteful and respectful. All opinions are welcome. And you know how I like to do. I like to get right into it. Um, Chicago, what's up? Chi-Town, how's it going? Let's see. I don't even know where to start with Chicago, to be honest with you. But one thing that has happened in the past few days or the past week or whatever is Texas Governor Greg Abbott has started sending these immigrants, these illegal immigrants, to Chicago. Now, of course, Mayor Beetlejuice, I'm sorry, Lori Lightfoot, she's not exactly happy with it. The DC mayor wasn't exactly happy with it. Neither was the New York City mayor. They're happy as long as it's not in their cities. Like the current administration is happy as long as it's in Texas and maybe Arizona, maybe a little bit in Southern California. But as long as it stays there, near the border towns, the border states, they're cool with it. But when immigrants start coming more north or more eastern, they don't like it. So Greg Abbott says, you know what? In Texas, we're not gonna house every all of these immigrants. We're not, which I think is exactly fair. I mean, I haven't been 100% in agreement with everything Greg Abbott has done, but I definitely can see his point on this. Let's read this article here with Fox News, I believe it is, and it's I mean, let's let's be honest. I mean, you have to know that one or two states cannot be responsible for all of these people coming in, tens of thousands of them coming in, and who's to say what they're bringing with them? But let's see here. It says Texas sends buses of migrants to Chicago for first time, dropped off at train station. Two buses carrying migrants from Texas arrived in Chicago on Wednesday night. The buses arrived at Chicago's Union Station at around 7:30 p.m., carrying migrants who crossed the southern border illegally. And focus on that word right there, illegally. Like, I love mankind, human beings, period. As people, as creations of God, I love people. But as we all know, there is a procedure you have to, you have to take part in, or you have to participate in order to get into a country legally. And they're not trying to do that. They're not trying to work it out. It's like they're just trying to just rush all these people in, and we know why. Certain administrations want to have more votes. Certain administrations don't want anyone to have to provide proof of, identification or citizenship to go and cast your vote, on a ballot in a country for a particular candidate that you probably know nothing about. Just saying. But it goes on to say an estimated 80 to 100 people were on the buses, which include 20 to 30 small children. Many of the migrants said they're from Venezuela. So Venezuela. Chicago is the latest city where migrants have been bused to from Texas, following New York City and Washington, D.C., all of which have Democrat mayors. Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott said in a statement that he looks forward to seeing Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot welcome the migrants since Chicago is a sanctuary city. It's weird how some of these cities call themselves sanctuary cities, but yet they don't want to welcome these immigrants into their cities. And they have nothing to say about it. As I said earlier, as long as it's in Texas or Arizona or maybe a little, at the southern borders of California, they have nothing to say about it. But now when it's in their city, all of a sudden it's an inconvenience. But we'll try our best to accommodate them. And on top of that, in United States, with most companies still and most places, you still have to be tested for that big thing, and you still have to get that jab in a lot of places. But these people are coming across the border, very few, if any of them, are getting tested, if any of them have the jab. I just find that strange. If there's so-called supposed to be a so-called pandemic, why are they all not getting tested? Why are they all not getting or being required to get the jab? Just a question. That's all. Goes on to say, uh, quote, President Biden's inaction at our southern border continues putting the lives of Texans and Americans at risk and is overwhelming our communities. Yes, I believe that. I believe that statement. People in Texas, they don't, there are gonna be times you'll be able to pick out these people and say, oh yeah, they're probably an immigrant. But most times you're not gonna be able to tell because once they get in and you know get a change of clothes, make themselves basically fit in, you're never going to know. And if these people get out here and start committing crimes, then what? Who's going to take responsibility for that? I can almost guarantee you if something happens to where these immigrants come in and start committing crimes, whether it's homicides or theft, burglary, uh, even perhaps, raping women and kids, you know, Governor Greg Abbott's going to get the blame for that. Even though he's trying to make sure that this doesn't happen, he's going to get the blame for that. The first thing this administration would say is, oh, it's Governor Greg Abbott's fault. How? Explain that to me. I mean, if you want them to come into the country, you know, let them be everywhere in every state. Don't just pick out one state and say, okay, yeah, we're trying to overrun this particular state or these particular two states with illegal immigrants. That's just my opinion there. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Goes on to say, let's see, President Biden's inaction at our southern border continues putting the lives of Texans and Americans at risk and is overwhelming our communities, unquote. Abbott said, to continue providing much needed relief to our small, overrun border towns, Chicago will join fellow sanctuary cities, Washington, D.C., and New York City as an additional drop off location. Mayor Lightfoot loves to tout the responsibility of her city to welcome all, regardless of legal status, and I look forward to seeing this responsibility in action as these migrants receive resources from a sanctuary city with the capacity to serve them. And I know he was probably being a little bit sarcastic there because she, yes, she has been said that she, the city loves to uh, love the responsibility of welcoming people regardless of legal status. So now we're about to find out if she's really going to stand by that statement. We'll see though. Now, like I said, the statement, I don't know if he was being serious, Abbott, or I don't know if he was just being, like I say, got a little jokey now, but we'll see. One thing I do know he was serious about is the fact that, yes, she has touted the responsibility of her city to welcome all regardless of legal status. So we'll see. But it's you just have to make me understand that it's okay to have these illegal immigrants come in certain states, southern border. It's okay. So Texas and Arizona, mainly Texas, but definitely Arizona, They're supposed to accommodate all of these people without any assistance from the federal government or any other states. Like, how does that even make sense? Like, you have to make that, make it make sense. Make it make sense. I don't know. Goes on to say, a statement from Abbott's office said that Chicago is being added as a quote unquote drop off location for future migrant buses in response to President Biden's open border policies overwhelming border communities in Texas. New York City, New York City Democratic Mayor Eric Adams, upon meeting the migrants on August 7th, said that the actions of Abbott are horrific. How is it horrific? Explain that to me. Like, I need more detail on that. Like, just because I put it this way, just because we don't want to be overwhelmed by illegal immigrants and we want to quote unquote spread the wealth or share the wealth, that's horrific. So once again, it's cool as long as they stay in Texas, but it's horrific if they go to Washington D.C., New York City, or Chicago. Okay, that makes perfect sense. That makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Very logical thinking there. But yeah, that I don't know, man. What do you all think on that? Like I said, I love God's creation. God created human beings. I love people, human beings as a whole, but there are certain things, certain laws you have to abide by. Certain you have to go through certain processes in order to enter a country legally. And for some reason, the Democratic Party and the current administration don't seem to believe in that. And there are a few Republicans out there too who are, not so legit either. So I'm not saying it's only Democrats. There are a few Republicans that are kind of wishy-washy. But yeah, that let me know what you all think about that. And I wonder where's the next city gonna be. We have New York City, DC, and Chicago. I mean, where's the next city going to be? Is it going to be Seattle? Is it going to be maybe LA? Where? What do you guys think? Anyways, on to the next topic, and I'll make this real fast. I don't want to stay on here too long. But TikTok, everyone loves TikTok. Everyone probably has a TikTok account, regardless if they're on it all the time or not, regardless if they're posting videos. Everyone has a TikTok account. But as we know lately, just like most social media platforms, conservatives have been silenced, so to speak. And I was looking at this article here. It goes and says, and this is a Fox News article also. Says TikTok has silenced 11 pro-free speech organizations while Muslim conservatives study finds. Media Research Center found many groups came under fire for supposedly running afoul of TikTok's leftist apparatus. Exclusive says TikTok, the popular social media app with close ties to Communist China and Chinese state media outlets, has silenced at least 11 pro-free speech organizations, according to the Media Research Center. The Media Research Center's censor track database tracked bans on TikTok and found, quote, many groups came under fire for supposedly running afoul of TikTok's leftist apparatus, unquote, in recent years. Quote, the Chinese Communist Party tied TikTok is Muslim conservatives and free thinkers by shutting down their accounts, typically with no explanation, unquote. MRC researcher Gabriela Paraso wrote. And I can definitely say this. Yes, I had a TikTok back in 2020. I had an account that, I had maybe 40,000 followers. And because I was questioning certain things like the jab, like the election, like certain political parties, they shut me down. Like one day I went on there and there was no more TikTok account. So I've been a victim of that myself. And yeah, you look at me, yeah, I'm probably 70% conservative. I'd probably say 80% conservative. At this point, I would like to be 100%, but I don't think anyone's 100% anything. But they shut me down because I viewed everything from a conservative perspective. And you can call it from a conservative perspective, but I love the way they worded it here. Free thinkers, people who are like, you know what? Let me not take what I see on mainstream media and just roll with it. Let me do my own research. You know, people like me who, there are Christians out there, who like, you know what? Before I make this decision or before I believe this, you know what? Let me get on my knees and pray. Let me reach out to God and see what I should do about this. They don't like that. I mean, there have been some Christian TikTokers, posting praise and worship and have gotten banned. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. Goes on to say the MRC's censor track database found that TikTok canceled accounts associated with no fewer than 11 pro free speech organizations since January 2019. Satire accounts, various pro free speech groups and commentators, pro life groups, and even the MRC's own MRC TV account are among those that TikTok shut down, Parasol wrote. The 11 pro free speech organizations or leaders impacted include Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, who's a very smart, very intelligent man. And he could actually, I mean, he's one of those people who could probably cry racism, but it wouldn't even make sense. You know what I mean? But anybody else that believed different from what he believed would probably be crying racism right now. Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton, Live Action, MRC TV, PragerU, Students for Life of America, the Babylon Bee, Daily Wire host Michael Knowles, Timcast IRL, and Young American Foundation, according to the censor track. Many of the account holders were notified of a quote-unquote permanent ban without an option to appeal, but eventually restored months later without an explanation. Yeah. So, and that lets you know how foolish it is if you really feel somebody did something wrong, why would you just restore them months later without an explanation? If you really feel they're doing something wrong, you wouldn't come back and do that. You'd be like, no, they're done because they're playing games. Let's be honest. Quote, none of the 11 permanently banned organizations in this report received an explanation why, though the platform sometimes claimed that censored users violate so-called hate speech or integrity and authenticity policies. TikTok often gives no explanation for its seemingly arbitrary banning of user accounts, Parasol wrote, adding that other organizations that have condemned communism and supported the Second Amendment have also been banned or silenced. So basically, if you support America and you support freedom and rights in America, you support the Constitution. They don't like that. TikTok did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Of course, TikTok, available to millions of Americans through Apple and Google online stores, is owned by the Beijing-based company ByteDance, an organization that FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr asserts is beholden to the Communist Party of China and required by Chinese law to comply with the PRC's surveillance demands. Quote, TikTok banned 11 of a total of 14, 79% censored organizations mentioned in this report. It banned 5 of those 11 organizations more than once, Parasol wrote. The banned accounts all received the same notice according to Censor Track, which simply stated your account was permanently banned due to multiple violations of our community guidelines. Parasol added that, quote, no further explanation or reason for permanent ban, unquote, was offered. The accounts are suddenly restored, or when accounts are suddenly restored, no explanation is given why TikTok reversed course either. See, that to me that doesn't make sense. There's never explanation. Oh, we're just gonna hold them out because they're getting on our nerves because they're speaking truth. Oh, but now we're gonna catch a little bit of heat, so we're gonna, you know, basically let them come back, restore them. I don't know. In 2021, the Young Americans for Liberty (YAL) group said a video in support of Kyle Rittenhouse was censored and then removed by TikTok before ultimately being restored. According to YAL, I wonder how is it YAL or just YAL? I think I just think of YAL. Somebody correct me. I'm not sure. No explanation was given for the removal of the video beyond accusing it of containing quote unquote illegal activities and regulated goods, like referring to the image of Rittenhouse carrying his gun during civil unrest in Kenosha, Wisconsin in 2020. Yeah, that's one of those things where basically it's a Second Amendment thing, and of course, certain people don't like the Second Amendment. But I do believe if you love the country, you love the Second Amendment. Last month, Forbes surveyed hundreds of LinkedIn profiles for employees of TikTok's parent company ByteDance and found that at least 300 workers had previously held positions in Chinese state media, and 15 of them currently work for both. At the time, a ByteDance spokesperson told Forbes that hiring is decided, quote, purely on an individual's professional capability to do the job. Yeah, right. This is better wake up. Let's put it that way. Better wake up because they're trying. It's about control. We know this, right? But I do think either you're gonna, you should have an open platform, just like most YouTube channels I see is YouTube creators. Most of them, if not all of us, will allow you to come in and post your comments and regardless of what you comment, all opinions are welcome. Like everyone that watched this video is not going to agree with me. Everyone that watched my channel is not going to agree with me. And that's fine because we're all different. I don't expect everyone to agree with me. But as long as it's tasteful and you're not completely just flat out disrespecting someone, I'll leave the comments up. I'm not going to just start saying, okay, well, I don't like what you said, so I'm going to take it down. That's not something I do. That's well, it's called free speech. Anyway, uh, touch on this a little bit. Mississippi, the water crisis that's going on in Mississippi right now. First of all, I definitely want to send prayers out to the people of Mississippi and just definitely praying that everything is restored, that you all have access to water and food and, basic necessities that we take for granted every day, they're struggling with right now. And definitely want to send prayers up for them. Pray that God watch over them in Jesus' name. And, amen. That's tough. And, being from Texas where we've experienced hurricanes and floods and things like that, you know, it's tough when you don't know where you're going to get clean water from, or maybe even at this point, they may even be running out of bottled water. That's why I would advise everyone to basically stock up on certain things because you never know what could happen. So definitely, like I said, want to send a shout out to them. If you know someone in Mississippi, if you haven't already, reach out to them. See if you can send anything to them. Mostly water, bottled water, jugs of water, cases of water, whatever. That would definitely be, you know, definitely be a blessing for them. But anyways, thank you all for joining. I'm not gonna stay on here too much longer. We're approaching probably like 25 minutes right now. Definitely don't want to make it too long for you all to watch or listen to. But please like, share, subscribe if you like this type of content, and please comment. As long as I said, as long as it's tasteful and respectful, please share what you think. Uh, and always remember this: we need to become more of a praying country. I don't know how many people out there believe in God. I don't know how many people out there believe in Jesus. And I'm gonna tell you this right now: if you don't like that, I'm not telling you not to watch the channel, but that's who I am. So if someone disagrees with that, hey, I'm not even going to apologize for it. I'm just saying expect that. There are going to be times that I'm going to incorporate God. I'm going to incorporate Jesus or the word of God. I'm going to do that because I know what's carried me and my family. But thank you all for joining. And as I always say, don't let mainstream media dictate what you say and what you do. Think for yourself. As one of the articles said, be a free thinker. See you.